Booker's, back again. The third release of the year for Booker's is here, and it's dubbed Mighty Fine Batch, named in honor of the signature phrase Booker No used to use to compliment anything he approved of, from his namesake bourbon to his country ham. Let's see if we could say the same thing for this batch of Booker's. Stay tuned, it's the Mash and Drum. What's up, folks? I'm Jason C. from the Mash and Drum, and welcome back to the show. Like, subscribe, and help grow the channel for 2023. Thank you so much, Whiskey Tube family. So, quick history here. In 1992, Booker No introduced the world to small batch bourbon. He actually coined the term small batch with Booker's, which has been bottled uncut and unfiltered from the beginning. As always, each batch of Booker's includes a batch story, so it mentions that if you knew Booker, then you knew Mighty Fine was his go-to phrase. He would often get together with other folks in the bourbon industry to taste samples of Booker's bourbon, and everyone knew he was happy with his selection when he sipped it and said it was mighty fine, followed by, "That's a damn good batch." So here is the batch story that's included with every batch of Booker's. This one actually has a nice little tidbit. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but Fred No mentions that shortly before Booker passed away in 2004, he selected the barrels for a Booker's bourbon batch for the very first time, and he shared it with his dad, Booker, and Booker looked at him and said, "Mighty fine job, son," which is a moment Fred will never forget. I think that's a really cool story. All right, on to the batch. Booker's Mighty Fine Batch is made up of barrels from 7 production dates that were aged in 6 different warehouses. The youngest bourbon in the batch is 7 years, 1 month, and 10 days old. It's bottled at 126.6 proof and retails nowadays for $100. We will compare this to Charlie's batch, which that was the first batch that was released in 2023, and I really enjoy that batch. So we'll see how it compares and holds up, but first time I'm trying this one, so here we go. All right, so the nose on this I'm really digging. So far, it leans more towards like that vanilla caramel, that sweet note that you get with Booker's, rather than the peanut shell or peanut butter heavy batches that you can get with Booker's. Oh, but the peanut's there, the peanut butter is there. But yeah, I would say it's more of a peanut butter, not a like a peanut shell. Yeah, like creamy peanut butter. Again, vanilla caramel. Definitely a little hint of citrus here. Yeah, I like this a lot. The nose on this is really good. It's not blowing me away, but this leans more towards the type of Booker's profile that I like. So let's try it, here we go. Dare I say it's mighty fine? Sorry, I could not help myself. This is a good batch. It really starts off with a lot of sweet. The creamy peanut butter note really kind of hits mid-palate. Has a nice spice to it. This is pretty good. This is much like Charlie's batch, where it's dangerously easy to sip for 100 and what did I say this was? 126.6? Yeah, it doesn't drink that way. This drinks lower than that. However, the lingering spice and the lingering Kentucky hug that you get probably would clue you in otherwise. However, on the palate, it's really sweet. It's easy. Again, it leans more towards confectionery than it does kind of like that bitter peanut shell type note that you get with Booker sometimes. This is good. Now, as I sip this gets into a little bit more of like a, kind of more towards, now I know it's not the same mash bill, but if you've ever tasted like Old Granddad, OGD, or you get a little bit more like that citrus rind in it, that's what I'm starting to get in here. Like citrus, dark honey, kind of mixed with those really rich like brown sugary, vanilla caramel flavors. Again, that little spike of peanut butter in the mid palate, and then it just kind of turns into this really nice spice, a really good finish. All right, let's compare it to Charlie's batch and see how good this one is. Glad I caught that. So the stats on Charlie's batch, youngest bourbon in the batch is 7 years, 1 month, 8 days old, and it's the exact same proof as Mighty Fine batch at 126.6, so fancy that. All right, let's compare the noses here, guys. I think Mighty Fine batch actually has the bigger punch of flavor here. Charlie's batch is along the same lines, but I think when I reviewed Charlie's batch, I said like it drank like a sweet tea, which I really liked, and it's still actually nosing that way. But let's give it a try here. Yeah, Charlie's batch is nice. Again, it's got like that sweet tea note type flavor profile to it. Again, I'm still picking up a little bit of that citrusy note. The same one I'm getting in Mighty Fine Batch. However, Mighty Fine Batch, I think Mighty Fine Batch might be kind of taking over Charlie's batch a little bit. It's got a little bit more of an elevated sweetness to it. I think the finish is longer, but it still doesn't drink like it's 126.6, which is something I said about Charlie's batch too. All right, one more quick comparison. I think Charlie's batch also has an elevated sweetness, however, it's just a different type of sweet. This one brings you into more of that vanilla extract, brown sugar type note, whereas I think the Mighty Fine Batch mixed with kind of a little bit of like that peanut buttery flavor along with the richer brown sugars. I think that's really the difference. Again, I don't think this batch is gonna blow anyone away. I don't think it's, you know, a super special batch. I still don't think it's like Country Ham level. All right, let's do a quick final breakdown on this one, guys. All right, retail price on the Booker's Mighty Fine Batch, the third release for 2023, about $100. I mean, people do tend to find these cheaper. I know Costco, you can find these sometimes. The Costcos that do sell Booker's, you could find them for maybe 70 to 80, somewhere closer to that, but retail is 100. So secondary, there is really no secondary for these anymore unless it's a very special batch like Country Ham or an anniversary batch. Value, as I always say, it's a below average value. I don't think it's low anymore. I think the market has kind of caught up to Booker's as far as like what barrel proof bourbons are going for. So I'll say it's below average at $100. The most I paid for this is retail. However, I would probably wait it out till I could find this a little bit below retail, but retail would be my ceiling. Alternatives for this one, guys, you know, they're vast. I mean, you have Wild Turkey Rare Breed, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. You go with Stag, you go with Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. Plenty of barrel proof options out there these days. And lastly, the recommendation, is it a skip? Is it a try before you buy? Is it a buy, or is it a buy and back it up? So I'm probably gonna be saying this for the rest of the Booker's days until something vastly changes. But if you're a Booker's fan, you're gonna wanna pick this one up. So Booker's fans, I think this is a buy. I think the people that love Booker's love Booker's. And I do think there's gonna be one here that you're not gonna wanna miss. However, if you're not a big fan of Booker's and you tread lightly on paying the money for one of these, especially with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof on the market, Wild Turkey Rare Breed, and other cask strength bourbons that are cheaper than this, I will say it's a try before you buy. Some people may really like this batch and enjoy it, but if you're a Booker's fan, I think this one could be one that you're gonna wanna add to the collection this year. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the newest Booker's batch for 2023, Mighty Fine Batch. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, find me on Instagram. Let me know if you've tried this yet, if you plan on picking one of these up, or if you're still one of those Booker's fans that likes to get each and every batch, or if you're just one of those folks that Booker's has kind of gone off the radar. I think they've done their best to kind of bring it back the last couple years with a little bit better of a batch consistency. So just curious to hear from you guys. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. Cheers. See you next time right here on The Mash and Drum. Cheers.